What's up YouTube? Jeff back again from SammyGuru.com, and today a super exciting Samsung video for you guys. I have the Galaxy Z TriFold here in the United States in Phoenix, Arizona. I imported it from Korea. I have a good relationship with an importer there. I've bought a lot of phones from them over the years, and I was able to get one of the first ones when it launched last week on the 12th, and they shipped it to me FedEx priority and got it on Monday the 15th. So I unboxed it already, but I'm going to show you guys everything that's in the box because I wanted to play with it last night. That was just too exciting. I'm going to show you guys all the various accessories. We'll walk through some of the things. I've already seen some UI quirks, but I can tell you this thing is crazy fun to play with. And I'll give you guys a look at it, show you how it compares in sort of thickness and stuff to the Fold 7, also the S25 Ultra as well. Before we get started, we'll remind you guys, make sure you check out the website, SammyGuru.com. You guys can also get in our mystery box program. If you're going to purchase a Galaxy S26 device, you get a free case cleaning kit, desktop phone stand, 65-watt charger, and everything. All the details are below if you want to sign up. So check that out in the pinned comment and description. All right, so let's go ahead and just open the box, and then I'll show you guys how this kind of looks when you originally unfold it. There it is. And you can see it's got this nice look silhouette of the phone. This is where the accessories are, and we'll take a look. I didn't actually unbox all the accessories. This is what was actually on the phone itself. And yes, I have the phone to the side here. I'll show you guys. This is, you can see some warnings there. They're trying to tell you not to fold this improperly, and they're showing you the correct way that you should be folding the device. And obviously, as you guys can see, it's in Korean, but you know, you can get the idea from the picture of what they're trying to say right there. And then this was just the divider between the stuff. Down here you have your charger, of course. This is the first foldable device from Samsung to support faster charging. You got 45 watts, of course. This is a Korean outlet plug, so I need an adapter, but I have one here in the US. That's really everything that's in the box here at the bottom. It's just a bunch of, you know, it's a really heavy duty box, which, you know, you appreciate that considering the fact that it is such a nice phone. The guy also shipped me the bag that it came in Korea, which is pretty cool. Here's the phone itself. We'll take a look at that accessory set next, but I imagine you guys probably want to see the phone this, you know, far into the video. So here it is. Let me actually zoom in here with my lens, and we can take a closer look here at some of the details and just dial the brightness back a little bit so you guys can see some of the nice details there. You can see it's got a very similar pattern to the craft black of the Z Fold 6, like kind of a carbon fiber pattern. It's kind of hard for the camera to pick it up super well, but I think you guys can see it there pretty good in that shot. Yeah, so this is the front display, and you can actually see here, if I bring in my Z Fold 7, the front display is basically identical to the Z Fold 7. Now, there are some differences in terms of the bezels. You can see you do have a little bit bigger bezel on the TriFold, but it is very similar, at least, to the Z Fold 7 in terms of that front display. And so then you unfold this thusly, and there is your beautiful inner display on the TriFold. And so I'll talk a little bit more about this build quality in a second, but let's look at the accessories because, for one thing, I haven't taken them all out of here yet, and we might as well look and see what else is in here. I got the SIM tool out of here last night just because I needed it, but I know there's a case. I'm kind of interested to see how the case compares to a case that I have for my Z Fold 7 that's sitting over here. We got in here, I believe this is where the SIM tool was as well, and then of course you also got USB-C, some general paperwork, warranty information, all that. And then, yeah, this is where you're going to find the case. So take a look at the case. I didn't really look before I bought it at exactly how the case works. So let's see how the case works here. It's got a hinge protector right here, just like some, you know, there's some Z Fold. Let me move this to the side so I can get it in focus a little bit better. So here you can see the hinge protector, and then on the back, obviously camera, a little Samsung branding. I mean, there's really not a lot going on here with this case. Let's put it on the phone. So again, when you fold the phone, you got to fold it this way and fold it up like that. Slap the case on there. This is not going to make it particularly thick, honestly. I mean, it's already pretty thick, like I showed you. See if I can show you here. This is the Z Fold 7 versus the TriFold. You can see that's with the case. I'll do a shot with them both with the case off in a second. But yeah, this case is nice. I mean, it's not going to protect everything, but it's the only design you could really have, I think, with the TriFold mechanism. I will say one thing that I've noticed already is that, I don't know how easy this can be to capture on camera. These aren't perfectly aligned. A lot of people complain about that. You know, when they unfold their Fold 7 or their Fold 6 over the years, people have complained that, you know, it's not completely flat. You can definitely see it's not completely flat here on the back, like right there. That might bother some people. I mean, it's just an OCD thing. Also, though, when you do split screen multitasking, you'll notice up here, if I can take a look, the corners, you know, they don't match. This is a rounded corner on the UI, and you've got the square design. So you've got this little bit of a space there. Probably going to bother some people. Also, another really annoying issue that's bothered me so far, a lot of apps don't, even if you try to force the full screen, it doesn't work. So like X, for instance, which I use a lot, you can see this is how it looks, which is not great. And that's even if you go in here, and obviously I realize just like, you know, on the Fold 7, you can go in here and you can turn this on so that it's full screen mode inside X, but that doesn't change anything. So you guys can actually see here, if I scroll down, I do have this in aspect ratio full screen, but Twitter does not respect your preferences, your choices, so to speak, and so that is not so great. It also is the case with Facebook, but I was able to force Facebook using the settings, and with Facebook it worked just fine, but not so much with X. So that's one thing that I've noticed. The other minor complaint, so first of all, if you try to fold it wrong, it will tell you. So you can't really do that. The other minor complaint is, let me see if I can take the case off. I can show you a little better. This thing does have a little bit of a, you know, comfortability issue when you're using it folded, because this back part here sticks out from the front fold, because of course you've got this hinge which is flush, and so this back part sticks out where the power and the volume and all that stuff is here on the back part of the device. But that also makes it a little uncomfortable, because now instead of just having one corner, you've got two corners, and they're obviously different thicknesses. And so that can bother your hand a little bit while you're holding the device there while it's all folded up. So that is something to keep in mind as well. Now here's a look, if you guys want to see Fold 7 versus TriFold with them both folded, no case at all or anything like that. The Fold 7 is basically the width of a single fold. If you didn't have that extra screen on there, that's essentially what you're getting here with the Fold 7. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, the fact that this is only slightly thicker than the Z Fold 6 is kind of insane, considering that it now unfolds to that super wide screen. Here's an S25 Ultra. This is with the case on. But I mean, I carry a case all the time on my slab phone, so it's not an unreasonable comparison. And you can see, if you actually compare it to an S25 Ultra with a case on, this is a pretty, not super thick, it's a leather case. This is my bull strap case. It's not a lot thicker than a slab phone with a case. And even if you do add, you know, this case, which I do like that it has the outer hinge protector, it's fairly minimal. Again, it's not going to cover everything just because, you know, this thing folds all those times. But I will say, this TriFold does feel incredibly durable. When I first got it, I was like, oh, am I going to worry about this thing breaking? Not really. I mean, it feels super durable. It's super thin when it's actually unfolded. It's just crazy thin when it's unfolded, as you guys can see. Camera rays on the back. I'll be testing the camera. I'm going to do a full review on this one, especially because it's US. I know not a lot of people are going to do it. You cannot turn on this screen when you have it unfolded, as you've probably seen from Samsung. You guys can get a look at those two creases. Don't really notice them when you have this, you know, out like this full on. But obviously, just like with the Fold 7, if you tilt it off axis, you're going to notice the creases, especially when the screen's off. It's a lot more noticeable in that sense. The other thing that I will say about this device is I did notice the charging speed a little bit faster, which is great. Battery life seems pretty good so far as well, which is something that I really do like about it. And for those of you wondering, if you were thinking about importing this in the US, first of all, I wouldn't do it, obviously, since I run a Samsung website for a living, over at Sammy Guru. It makes sense for me financially because we will make money back off of covering this phone and also here on YouTube. But I wouldn't import it because it's going to come to the US in Q1 2026. But if you were thinking about it, I've been running this on T-Mobile SIM right now. You guys can see. And I don't know, you can see the 5G bars. I just turned off the Wi-Fi here in the Sammy Guru office. Also zoom in here with the zoom lens. You can see there, it's getting some 5G and it's pretty good overall. There's a little dead spot at a park over by my house when I tested it over there this morning. But otherwise, on T-Mobile, it's actually looking pretty good. You guys can see the screen. I did see some people complaining. There are some people who had some complaints